a single power-packed agenda this Sunday morning. The Prime Minister is in the United States of America for the Quad Summit. He is, in fact, in the state of US President Joe Biden. And viewers, all eyes are on Delaware in the United States, where the leaders of the Quad nations have assembled to discuss issues of regional and global importance. The focus remains on boosting cooperation in the Indo-Pacific and exploring ways to find peaceful solutions to the conflicts in Ukraine and Gaza. The four-member advocates upholding a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. Prime Minister highlighted this in his address during the Quad meeting and also laid emphasis on rules-based international order, respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity. He said that the Quad is here to stay, to assist, to partner and to complement.
हमारी बैठक ऐसे समय हो रही है जब विश्व तनावों और संघर्षों से घिरा हुआ है। ऐसे में साझा डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यूज के आधार पर क्वाड का मिलकर साथ चलना पूरी मानवता के लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। हम किसी के खिलाफ नहीं हैं। हम सभी एक रूल्स बेस्ड इंटरनेशनल ऑर्डर, संप्रभुता और क्षेत्रीय अखंडता के सम्मान और सभी मसलों के शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से हल निकालने का समर्थन करते हैं। फ्री, ओपन, इंक्लूसिव और प्रॉस्परस इंडो पैसिफिक हमारी साझा प्राथमिकता और साझा प्रतिबद्धता है। हमने मिलकर हेल्थ सिक्योरिटी, क्रिटिकल एंड इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज, क्लाइमेट चेंज, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग जैसे क्षेत्रों में कई सकारात्मक और समावेशी इनिशिएटिव लिए हैं। हमारा मैसेज साफ है, क्वाड is here to stay, to assist, to partner and to complement.
We'll be speaking shortly after the Prime Minister has in fact concluded his bilateral engagement with President Joe Biden here in Wilmington in Delaware in the United States. The Prime Minister is in the hometown of the American President. The Quad Summit has also concluded, and so have the Prime Minister's bilateral meetings with his Australian counterpart Anthony Albanese and the Japanese Prime Minister Mr. Fumio Kishida. Now, of course, the attention turns to the Prime Minister's engagements in New York. He'll be interacting with members of the Indian diaspora. Almost 24,000 people expected to be present at his Diaspora Connect event in Nassau County, in Long Island, in New York. And thereafter, of course, he'll be meeting CEOs from across industry, entrepreneurs successful in their own right, to deepen India's business engagements with the United States. We'll wait and see as to what the outcome of those meetings are as well. What's also very important to highlight is that we're in election season here in the United States of America. The Indian diaspora, the Indian community in the United States is almost 4.5 million strong. It's emerged as a very important, influential constituency and a vote bank that neither the Republicans nor the Democrats can ignore. So that's the context in which this visit on the part of the Indian Prime Minister is, of course, also being held, and his interaction with members of the Indian community in Nassau County, in Long Island, in New York. So we'll wait and see as to how that unfolds. There's tremendous anticipation in the build-up to that event, and it's been a very distinguishing feature of the Prime Minister's foreign policy outreach, his engagements with members of the Indian community to each and every country that he's visited during his 10-year-long tenure so far as the Prime Minister.
Siddharth reporting for us from the United States. Let's just catch you up with what's been happening now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's day one in the United States has been a packed one. After receiving a grand welcome by the Indian diaspora upon his arrival in Philadelphia, the Prime Minister got down to business straight away. PM Modi met US President Joe Biden, who welcomed him to his residence in Wilmington. The two leaders hugged each other, and President Biden was seen holding PM Modi's hands and giving him a tour of his house. The bonhomie between the two was on full display. The informal meeting was followed by bilateral meeting between the two leaders. after which Biden described the India-US partnership as stronger, closer, and more dynamic than ever. Issuing a statement after the meeting, the Ministry of External Affairs of India said that discussions were focused on ways to further deepen the India-US bilateral partnership in areas of mutual interest. It further said that the two leaders exchanged views on global and regional issues, including the Indo-Pacific region and beyond. After the Quad meeting in Delaware, Modi will head to New York, where he will address a large community event in Long Island. The next day, that is on September 23, he will speak at the United Nations Summit of the Future before returning to India. His address to the Indian diaspora will take place at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in New York.
Well, the interaction that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will have with members of the Indian American community at Nassau County is significant in more ways than one. It's been a very unique feature of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's diplomacy that he makes it a point to meet members of the Indian diaspora residing in every single country that he's visited since 2014. After all, he set the ball rolling here in the United States, where he met that large Indian American gathering at Madison Square Garden, and he'll be meeting approximately 24,000 members of the Indian American community at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island in New York. What also sets this particular interaction apart is that it's taking place in election season here in the United States of America. The Indian diaspora in the United States, people of Indian origin, number almost 4.5 million in this country, and over a period of time they've acquired a significant amount of influence, and it's an electoral constituency now that neither the Republicans nor the Democrats can afford to ignore in what is building up to be a very interesting election campaign indeed. So all eyes on Nassau County, where the Prime Minister meets members of the Indian community yet again. Well, let's now give you a bit of a perspective on the community event that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be addressing at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island in New York. Around 20,000 people are expected to be in attendance. There are more than 350 volunteers who've contributed towards putting this event together. As many as 40 American states will be represented as part of the audience that will gather for this very important occasion, and as many as 60 buses have been commissioned in different parts of the country to ferry in people to attend this all-important event. There will be 500 artists and performers who will also be taking to the stage in the build-up to that very important speech that the Prime Minister is expected to deliver as part of his address to the Indian American community here.
Let's also not forget there are other factors also at play, because the Prime Minister also met CEOs of major tech companies. Let's take a look at what's happening on that front as well.
Now, one of the highlights of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visits to the United States has been his interaction with members of the business community here. It's in that context that one must also see his meetings with CEOs from across industry in New York. What will be the specific points of emphasis this time? Well, that remains to be seen. But from what we hear, semiconductors and diversifying the supply chain vis-a-vis both India and the United States with respect to chip manufacturing is something that is going to be a priority area. Both countries also want to cooperate in the field of quantum computing as well as biotechnology, and it's in that context that this specific interaction now between CEOs as well as the Indian Prime Minister assumes that much more importance. Now, bilateral trade between India and the United States has been to the tune of $191.8 billion. There's obviously scope for greater growth there, and India has also attracted approximately $67 billion in American investment over a period of time. What are some of the avenues in which we can actually witness greater growth and cooperation? Well, we'll find out after that interaction between members of the business community, the CEOs across industry, and the Prime Minister concludes.
And so that's what's really happening right now. That's what's been happening overnight. So let's very importantly listen once more to what the Prime Minister said, his remarks at the Quad Summit.
हमारी बैठक ऐसे समय हो रही है जब विश्व तनावों और संघर्षों से घिरा हुआ है। ऐसे में साझा डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यूज के आधार पर क्वाड का मिलकर साथ चलना पूरी मानवता के लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। हम किसी के खिलाफ नहीं हैं। हम सभी एक रूल्स बेस्ड इंटरनेशनल ऑर्डर, संप्रभुता और क्षेत्रीय अखंडता के सम्मान और सभी मसलों के शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से हल निकालने का समर्थन करते हैं। फ्री, ओपन, इंक्लूसिव और प्रॉस्परस इंडो पैसिफिक हमारी साझा प्राथमिकता और साझा प्रतिबद्धता है। हमने मिलकर हेल्थ सिक्योरिटी, क्रिटिकल एंड इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज, क्लाइमेट चेंज, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग जैसे क्षेत्रों में कई सकारात्मक और समावेशी इनिशिएटिव लिए हैं। हमारा मैसेज साफ है, क्वाड इज हियर टू स्टे, टू असिस्ट, टू पार्टनर and to complement.
So the Prime Minister really stating out the objectives and the progress made by the Quad. Let's also not forget that this is a meeting that was indeed scheduled to take place in India this year. However, due to a swap between India and the United States, they are in fact meeting at Delaware, which is the home state, and in fact Wilmington, which is the home city of US President Joe Biden. Which, of course, the flip side of that is that next year India will be the host of the Quad Summit, and among the attendees there will be whoever it is that succeeds Joe Biden in the White House. But Prime Minister Modi making it very clear that the Quad is here to stay, and that comes amidst really a search for purpose for the Quad. Many have touted it to be an alliance of countries against China, major countries against China. However, it is in no way a military alliance. That is something that all four sides have made abundantly clear during previous meetings, if I'm not mistaken, also held in the United States. However, there is a lot there for them to do. Australia and Japan and India, between them encompass a vast amount of the GDP potential in the Indian Ocean region. They also have very, very long coastlines that are long been seafaring countries. In Australia's case, perhaps a little newer, but in India and Japan's case, for a very long time. And we've seen how the United States is the bulwark of this partnership as well. We'll be taking a short break now, but when we return, viewers, we'll be reporting live from the United States. We'll bring you up to speed on what else to expect today and the bilateral meetings that are going on. For the moment, we are slipping into a short break.